Feels like a missed couple, but I mean, it's tennis, you know. Today you loser, tomorrow you winner, so hopefully I'll be more of a winner this season than a loser, so
Once again, fans are watching the same difficult story repeat itself in women's tennis. Aryna Sabalenka, a player known for her strength and raw ability, has suffered another heartbreaking loss in a Grand Slam final. And once again, instead of calmly accepting the result and openly recognizing her opponent, Sabalenka responded in a familiar way, with emotion, explanations, and a focus on herself rather than on the winner. This time, the Australian Open title went to Elena Rybakina. However, if you listen closely to Sabalenka's comments after the match, it sounds as though she believes she defeated herself rather than being beaten by someone who played better on the day. Let's examine what Sabalenka actually said after this painful loss. She explained that if she had been more aggressive, if she had followed her tactics more closely, or if she had handled certain moments differently, the result might have changed. The message was clear. Everything came back to what she failed to do, what she should have done, and what she could have changed. What was missing from this reflection was any real acknowledgement of Elena Rybakina's performance. There was little recognition that Rybakina played outstanding tennis, that she entered the match with a clear plan, executed it effectively, and earned the victory through her own skill. This highlights the deeper issue in how Sabalenka handles defeat. She spends time replaying her mistakes, focusing on missed points and lost chances, and expressing frustration over what slipped away. But she struggles to show genuine respect for the opponent who stood across the net and performed better when the pressure was at its highest. Elena Rybakina did not simply wait for errors. She took control of the match using her power, accuracy, composure, and smart shot selection. The match itself was exciting from start to finish and clearly showed why Rybakina has become such a difficult opponent for Sabalenka. Rybakina came out strong in the opening set. She asserted herself early and never allowed Sabalenka to find a steady rhythm. Her serve was powerful and consistent. Her ground strokes were deep and precise, and her movement was sharp and purposeful. She secured the first set 6-4, making it clear that she was not intimidated by the moment or by Sabalenka's reputation. To her credit, Sabalenka responded with determination. In the second set, she played the aggressive baseline tennis that has made her one of the most feared players on tour. She stepped into the court, struck her shots with greater intent, and rushed Rybakina for time. The momentum shifted, and Sabalenka took the second set, forcing a deciding third set and setting up what many expected to be a dramatic finish. The third set is where this match will be remembered, and it is also where Sabalenka's post-match explanations become harder to accept. She jumped out to a strong 3-0 lead. At that stage, she appeared fully in control, confident, and well-positioned to close out the match. Many players would have struggled under that pressure, especially in a Grand Slam final. Elena Rybakina did not. What followed was a clear display of composure and high-level competitive focus. Rybakina stayed calm and did not abandon her approach. She didn't panic or make drastic changes. Instead, she raised her level exactly when the match was hanging in the balance. Slowly but steadily, she worked her way back into the set. She broke Sabalenka's serve, held her own service games, and completely reversed the momentum. By the time Rybakina closed out the final set 6-4, there was no doubt who had been the stronger player on the day. Yet even after experiencing such a determined comeback, Sabalenka continued to downplay Rybakina's achievement. In her post-match comments, she suggested that Rybakina was not necessarily better, implying that her own mistakes had gifted the win to her opponent. She spoke again about missed shots, lost opportunities, and aggressive plays that didn't work. While self-analysis is important, the overall tone focused almost entirely on her own performance and failed to give proper respect to the player who had just beaten her on the biggest stage.
Feels like a missed couple, but I mean, it's tennis, you know. Today you loser, tomorrow you winner, so hopefully I'll be more of a winner this season than a loser. So
Be tough for Sabalenka. I think she'll be wondering how that final set turned.
This was not the first time Elena Rybakina has outperformed Aryna Sabalenka in a major match. Their history together makes Sabalenka's reluctance to give Rybakina full credit even more difficult to understand. Just last year, Rybakina defeated Sabalenka at the WTA Finals, another major event under intense pressure. At that time, Sabalenka appeared extremely confident, even overly sure of victory. Reports suggested that her confidence crossed into disrespect, including toward her own coach during the match. The sense of superiority was noticeable. When Rybakina went on to win, it should have been a moment for reflection, a chance to learn humility and show respect for a worthy opponent. Instead, the same pattern has repeated itself. Once again, Rybakina has beaten Sabalenka in an important final, and once again, the response has not changed. The emotions surface, the explanations follow, and recognition for the opponent remains largely absent. What makes this pattern more concerning is that it goes beyond Sabalenka's rivalry with Rybakina. This tendency to minimize opponents and avoid acknowledging their strengths has appeared in other major matches as well. Think back to last year's French Open final, when Coco Gauff won her first Grand Slam title by defeating Sabalenka. It was a defining moment for the young American, a victory that confirmed her place among the sport's elite. Yet Sabalenka's reaction followed the same familiar script. She suggested that Gauff was not necessarily better and framed the loss as the result of her own mistakes rather than Gauff's strong performance. Once again, attention shifted away from the winner and back to Sabalenka's errors. It was dismissive then, and it remains dismissive now. This ongoing behavior reflects a deeper issue with sportsmanship. Tennis has always valued mutual respect, recognizing effort, skill, and the reality that sometimes an opponent simply performs better on a given day. The greatest champions in tennis history have understood this. They have accepted defeat with dignity, praised their opponents, and acknowledged when they were outplayed. Sabalenka has struggled to show this level of grace. Whether it is Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, or another player who defeats her in a major match, the response is often the same. She turns inward, highlights her own shortcomings, and suggests that the opponent's success came more from her failures than from their strengths. This approach not only disrespects players who train just as hard and earn their victories, but it also reveals a mindset that may be limiting Sabalenka's growth. The truth is clear. Elena Rybakina has now defeated Aryna Sabalenka twice in major finals. That is not coincidence. That is not simply about mistakes. It is about Rybakina having the skill and mental strength to rise to the occasion. Her serve is among the most powerful and effective in women's tennis. Her ground strokes are heavy and consistently deep. Her movement has improved significantly. And, perhaps most importantly, she remains calm and confident when the pressure is highest. Until Sabalenka can fully accept these facts and give her opponents the credit they deserve, she may continue to fall short in the biggest moments. Mental strength in tennis is not only about belief in yourself, it also requires respecting your opponent, understanding their strengths, and preparing to counter them, instead of assuming your own game will always be enough. The tears and explanations following this Australian Open final are becoming repetitive. Fans and observers are growing tired of hearing the same reasoning after every major loss. Elena Rybakina deserved more acknowledgement, Coco Gauff deserved more acknowledgement, and ultimately, Aryna Sabalenka deserves more from herself. Until she learns to lose with grace, properly credit her opponents, and focus on what her rivals are doing right, not just on her own mistakes, these painful Grand Slam final losses may continue to add up.